Welcome back to Maintenance Made on a Budget. Today we're going to change out this ridiculous water pump on an 03 Cummins Dodge 25 Ram. Water pump sits right here in front. That's it right there. You'll notice when they start to go out, there's a little weep hole on the bottom, and they're designed to start dripping when they fill. It kind of, you can see there, it's a little wet, pulls up, and it'll drip straight down. So right in front, if you notice when you're parking, start to see little drips of water. It's probably your pump. These pumps are notorious for wiping out often. This pump must have been a failure. I just replaced this pump about 8 months ago. It's possible there might have been a little bit of dirt left in my coolant system that might have wiped it out. Who knows? I've had this truck since 04, and I've probably replaced about, this will be the 5th one now. So that's a little ridiculous considering this engine doesn't have, I'm still barely not even 100,000 miles. So one of the things it could be is contaminant is inside your radiator, or it's a defective pump. In this case, it's possible that there just might have been some contaminants in the coolant. I completely drain it. I only use the same coolant that's recommended for diesels. So who knows? But anyways, if you find yourself in this situation, that's what we're going to do. It's not hard to do. It's not confusing. But anyway, so what I usually do is I'll remove the thermostat and then I'll drain the radiator. So there's a drain. Let's see if I can get it like see that little peacock right there? So right in front. And we'll go ahead and let that drain out. All right, next step, now it's all drained, is you need to get that pulley, pull that down so that you can pull this belt off. Get the tension off, just slip the belt. No need to pull the whole belt off, just slide it off so you can access the 2 mounting bolts for the pump. And to do that, I usually go underneath the truck, and I'll show you here in a minute. Okay, so here we are underneath. I got breaker bar right there. So I'm just going to pull that forward or to the passenger side. I'm going to pull it that way and the belt will come loose, and I'll have someone help me just kind of slip it off so we can get to that pump. All right, there's the pump. So 2 10mm bolts. Once you get that belt removed off this alternator, and I just dropped it off to the side there, it'll come out pretty easily. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out. We'll take a quick look at it, see if there's any obvious signs of why this failed so quickly. Like I said, it could have been a possible contaminant, but I will say that, and we'll check out the water that came out, or I'm sorry, the coolant. I doubt there was any contaminants, because I flush the radiator when I change these, and that's what makes it frustrating, is every time these things go out, you got to dump it, flush out your system, put new radiant coolant in again, and it's just also not very reliable. Makes it, when you do long hauls or trips or anything like that, as I've been doing lately, there's a little more anxiety that goes with planning these trips, because I don't have much faith in these pumps. Anyway, we're going to pull that out. Okay, and that's kind of what the inside looks like. What I did is I took an inspection mirror and just kind of looked around to see if there's any discoloration or anything that's like blatantly obvious, and of course there's not anything going on there. And then also I took a turkey baster and just kind of sucked out the remaining liquid that was sitting inside the housing. Here's the pump we got pulled off. So, like I said, they just pretty basic. You've got a little gasket here, O-ring, and I looked at it. I mean, it's got a little bit of like build up, but I'm not, that's just to seal it from leaking. The weep hole, so I don't know if you could see that there. Anyway, my light's jacking up on me. The weep hole is right there. So you'll have it drip. There's a slow drip. I would say that's the only good thing about these crap pumps is when you start to see that dump, you still have time, you know, so if you're out there on the road, hopefully you can get into a decent spot where you can pull this thing out. I know I drove on it for about 4 hours, not this time, but previously when I first saw a leak. I was out in the middle of nowhere doing some stuff and noticed it starting to drip. Well, first I noticed that the AC stopped cooling, right? Because we're not pumping, it's not efficiently cooling the refrigerant. And I remember seeing it drip, but I just took it as, oh, it's the condensate from the AC. And about 4 hours later, I got home. The next day I went to start it and it just completely just dumped. When it goes out, it'll go out. So luckily, if you have a drip, they have a weep hole and you start to see these drips come out, you need to take immediate attention to it. And just know that these pumps are crap. I haven't had one. This is, I'm suspecting some type of a pump failure inside of it. We'll take a look at what drained out. So here's what came out. It's kind of hard to tell because I've got an orange bucket, but I mean, there is a couple particles in there. That very well could be it. Hard to say. All right, so got the new pump. Same weep hole on the bottom. And let's see. So it'll sit in like that with the part number on top. Only thing to do with this is you'll need to silicone your new O-ring here and just push it in. Make sure it's clean around the inside there. Put a little light coat of silicone and then just put it back. Okay, there's the new pump. So just make sure the weep hole's on the bottom. You'll have your serial number up on the top there. It's about 30 foot-pounds according to the Haynes manual. But a good solid hand tight will probably do. 30 pounds isn't much at all. Just make sure it's nice and snug, and the key is that you go evenly both sides. Half turn, half turn, half turn, half turn, and then 30 foot-pounds. Now we're going to go ahead and put the belt back on, and I'm going to flush the radiator some more, only because, and it doesn't, just make sure you use the same brand, whatever. I'm using Xerox, but it all is dependent on where you're at, colder weather, hotter weather. Just make sure you see what you put the same color, and just look up your manual's direction for specifications. That's all I'll say on that. I don't endorse Valvoline or Xerox or any of that stuff. It's just what I've always used on here. So, all right, so what I'm gonna do now is just flush it out probably 2 times, and I'm just gonna verify that no more particles are gonna be coming into the bucket. Okay, pumps in, torque to 30 foot-pounds. Of course, when I was putting the belt on, it split on me. So it's now time to change the belt. So if you like this video, hope you hit the like button, and you may want to subscribe, and I'll show you how I change this belt out next. Yay! Anyway, pump's back on. So I went ahead and flushed it out. Putting that bottom one on first, thread it in with your hand while you're holding this against your arm. And I had my hand cupped on the bottom and just kind of pushed it just to get that first bolt to thread in there to hold it, because it keeps falling out. You'll discover that it's a fun pump to put in. Like I said in the beginning, it's not complicated, but it's not totally easy. But anyways, you can do it, or you can try getting like a big long pry bar and just kind of wedge it in there to hold it for you. But you can do it with one hand. Anyway, that's done. And now we, like I said, we're gonna come out here, and I flushed it and found some interesting stuff. So while I was flushing, I found that piece right there. Looks like a nail or something crazy, or it could just be a piece of metal from one of the old pumps a long time ago that I've changed. Who knows? But yeah, that came out not good. So I completely flushed everything, and Yeah, just it found a couple of those pieces and small little tiny rust pieces. Um, so well worth it. That must have been the problem, that it just had contaminated coolant system. Must have been from the last flush, the last time I changed the pump. So very important, guys, to keep this thing flushed out every single time you change these pumps. I'm pretty sure this pump will last me a lot longer now, but they still aren't that great. Like I said, the longest pump I've had is probably 3 to 4, maybe 4. Well, I've had 4 or 5 the whole time. So, all right, guys. All right, so hope this video helped. Pretty easy, but like with a lot of things on these trucks, nothing's easy in the mind, hard on the body. Hope you like this video. Stay tuned if you like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.